Everybody likes the Michigan rag. Every baby and Jane and Ruth from Weehawken to the Duluth slide right by the Michigan. Up the Michigan. Yeah. That's the Michigan rag from Michigan J Frog, ladies and gentlemen. My favorite cartoon. That is my favorite cartoon.
Okay.
That was, if anybody has never seen Michigan J Frog, it's about a frog who is discovered by a guy who is poor and finds out that this frog sings, and he wants to make money off of him, but he later finds out that the frog will not sing for anybody else but him. But he has to learn the hard way. Because every time he presents it to people, he just sits there and goes, brrr. And then as soon as they leave, he sings shit like that. The first ever troll.
That is life.
That is life in general. He was the original troll. He was an asshole, but he was a funny asshole. Okay? We're back again with Scroat Circle Breakdown because finally our schedules actually coincided together this time.
Sorry, that was my fault.
Yeah, it is your fault. Shame! Shame! Shame!
The seven deities have brought us back together, yeah!
Yeah! Oh.
I'm going to go take a 10-minute break while you guys finish this up.
Make it 20.
Okay.
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 You know what's funny that we're talking? I know this has absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about. But I'm looking over here, like towards where one of my boxes are with the DVDs, and there's a shirt laying on top, and you want to know what shirt it is? Kristen would know what shirt this is, not Jordan, because he was not around. It's my old Yexus shirt.
Wow. I'd have to find mine. It's somewhere.
It's got my screen name on, well, my YouTube username on it, and it has the quote, "Your clothes are red!" from one of the greatest movies ever created. I don't care what Truth Slayer says. Fuck him. Kung Pao, Enter the Fist, the greatest movie of all time.
I thought you were going to say it came from the movie that now I got to think that Alex made for me.
No. Well, it technically did.
I was about to say, isn't it in there too?
I'm the one that said that line, but I said it because it was from Kung Pao.
A little context. A very long time ago, our friend Alex made me a movie, and it was almost movie length. It's in 4 parts, about how he bought me a birthday present and then sold it for, what was it, for hookers and coke or something? Mm-hmm. And then he has to, a la Back to the Future, go back in time and keep himself from selling my present.
Yep, and
I think it's on my channel. I think I reposted it on my channel at some point.
Yes, you did. Yeah, I was just looking at this, and I never threw it away because I figured, you know what, I think people underestimated how courteous Alex was to think about us in the way he did by making us these shirts. It was the first and only time that we actually wore, like, the same, like, you know, you'll see some people, they'll wear, like, field trip shirts. It was the first time and only time we ever did that, so, yeah, and it's a memory that I will always remember. Anyways.
We'll get to do that again when you come back down.
Well, yes, I told everybody that I'll be probably be taking a trip to New Orleans again to take my girlfriend for Anna, pun intended, versary. So, anyways, that's
for your anniversary to Louisiana.
Whoa, that's so punny.
This man.
You know, I just had to point that out.
Yes, now we'll see ourselves out. For this episode, there's going to be a new format that we will get to in a moment, but before we get to that, we're not going to actually review the show, because first off, I don't know if everybody here actually watched the whole show. I didn't, because it happened while I was at work. But I did catch the last 2 matches of the WWE's Greatest Royal Rumble. And I saw the cage match and the actual Rumble itself. I saw it with my beloved Anna. What did you all think?
I thought it pushed absolutely nothing. Nothing changed. Nothing happened. The only big thing that happened was Braun Strowman, I guess, winning the Rumble and winning a title that I guess nobody's ever going to see again.
Well, here's the weird thing. Are they including all the Rumble records that we saw on that show? Are they including it with the original Royal Rumble?
I think so.
Because Braun Strowman completed the record for most eliminations in a Rumble. He broke it.
Did he?
Yeah, he eliminated 13 people in this match. In fact, let me pull up and see who he threw out. Okay, so he threw out Titus O'Neil, which we'll get to in a minute. He threw out Heath Slater. He threw out Big E. He threw out Bubba Tunda. I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong. He threw out Dan Matha. He threw out Ty Dillinger, Kurt Hawkins, Bobby Lashley, The Great Khali, Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon, Big Cass, Chris Jericho, and there was one other guy he threw out that I have not mentioned. It may be Elias. No, that was Bobby Lashley. Who did he eliminate? Now I'm puzzled. But they do say that he broke the record. He threw out 13. Big E, Heath Slater, Bubba Tunda, Titus O'Neil, Dan Matha, Ty Dillinger, Kurt Hawkins, Bobby Lashley, Great Khali, Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon. Huh. I only see 12 here. Oh well. So
And others.
Etc.
Something like that. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, the Greatest Royal Rumble accomplished a couple things. Well, for one, Daniel Bryan has now the longest reign in a Royal Rumble with 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 16 seconds.
I wonder if these statistics are going to be in, like, they do the Royal Rumble, like, fact checks and whatever around Royal Rumble time, and I wonder if these are going to be in there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're going to count it wasn't a traditional Royal Rumble, but because of everything they did, I feel like they're going to have to count this as like technicality type bullshit.
Okay.
Well, there was some other things that happened in this Rumble. Well, for one, we saw the return of Rey Mysterio for one night only. We saw the return of Great Khali for one night only. The return of Chris Jericho for one night only. The return of Primo for one night only. We've also seen...
Whoa, wait. So Primo was employed for a night.
Well, employed, quote unquote. We don't even know if he got paid. Okay? We don't know.
I'm just saying.
I mean,
So what you're trying to say is Primo had a job.
For one night.
He had a job.
He had a job.
He had a job. I mean, it's been about 10 years since he's worked for the company, but they let him have a one-night thing. But then again, it could have just been Epico filling in for Primo. You never know.
Are we sure? I mean, have you asked him on his personal Instagram?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, at one point, and I have proof of this, Epico started following me on Instagram. His cousin. Primo's cousin. He doesn't follow me now because I think he finally realized who I am and how much I've ridiculed his cousin over the years. I'm just saying that...
There is photographic evidence.
Yes. And I probably will put it up on this video. But suffice to say, I'm just saying that it's really rare that I see Primo on television. So anyone's going to assume the guy has not got a job. Not with the company? No. I'm just saying. Just saying. We also had another great, awesome moment in this Rumble. The Shockmaster has got to pass the torch. Because Titus O'Neil, Titus World Slide, had probably one of the best botches, but people fail to realize that if they would have went with their LED screen on the side of the ring, that botch would have not been funny. Because...
Yeah, he would have slammed right into it.
He probably could have gotten killed.
It would not have felt good.
No, and it probably wouldn't be this hilarious thing. So...
Yeah, it'd still be pretty funny.
I don't know. I don't want to see somebody die.
No,
It'd be
I
funny
don't think
if
he would
we
have
found out he
died,
was
but
all right. It would be funny after we found out that he was, mostly all right.
If he was all right. If he had to go to the hospital, probably not. But in case anybody's living under a rock, so Titus O'Neil enters at number 39, and Titus O'Neil's running towards the ring, and as soon as he gets about, let's just say, about 6-7 feet from the ring, he trips and he slides, but he doesn't just so much slide, he goes literally underneath the ring.
It's pretty funny.
If you if you go to my Facebook, it's my cover photo of him going underneath the ring. It's the greatest fucking thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I'm just hoping that the WWE doesn't drill this joke to death, because that's what they're about to do.
They will, because Vince fucking loves it.
I love it too, but I don't know if I would make it his gimmick to just constantly drill.
He falls all the time.
Yeah, because I get it. I get it at this point, you know? You don't need to drill.
I don't think it's going to be his gimmick, because I think he came in, was it Monday night, and helped somebody win?
Yeah, and he tripped. He fake
Did
tripped.
he trip?
Yeah, he went on top of the ring and he did a fake trip to distract Baron Corbin to help No Way Jose win the match.
Well, we'll see what happens.
The only funny part about this whole segment was that as soon as they got to the part where he tripped, Apollo Crews and Dana Brooke stopped him and said, "Watch your step," and he walked.
Okay, that's kind of funny. That's kind of funny.
It was.
But if they do it every night, then yeah.
Yeah, it's overkill. But that's what they do. The Royal Rumble itself was what it was. I enjoyed it, but then again, the Royal Rumble, I have a bias for it. It's a Rumble. You have to really be a royal fuck-up to fuck up a Royal Rumble, or at least make it so bad. Like, no one's ever going to top the 2015 Rumble, because that Rumble is so entertaining to watch. It's funny to watch how deflated the crowd sounds and booing everybody, unless your name is Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, or Damien Mizdow. It was great. But what happened on this show? We had the debut. Oh, we also had the debut of Hiroki Sumi.
Okay.
Now, the reason this is funny is because the reports are that the guy who wanted this event at his show wanted Yokozuna at this event. There's one problem, though. He's about 17 to 18 years a little too late because Yokozuna passed away.
Yeah, I was about to say, Yokozuna's pretty dead.
Yes, he's been worm food for almost 20 years. He also wanted the Ultimate Warrior at his show.
Also, no longer with us.
No longer with us, but he also, there was a third name he specifically required, who's also dead, and his name is The Undertaker.
Yeah, but he's been dead a while
man.
and
Yeah.
still been showing up.
But, so he got 1 out of the 3, and 1 out of 3 ain't bad. So, Hiroki Sumi was just, I guess, the suitable replacement for Yokozuna, except that, A, he wasn't as big as Yokozuna, B, as far as I know, he has literally no pro wrestling training at all. He does do sumo wrestling, but he has no pro wrestling experience whatsoever, and you can clearly tell because all he did was have a stare down with Mark Henry and then get thrown out.
All right. Well, there's a thing that happened.
I first thought it was a NXT talent that I wasn't aware of, because there was a couple in this match: Tucker Knight, Roderick Strong, Baba Tunda, Dan Matha, just a couple names that were thrown in there from NXT. But by the same token, it is what it is. They got what they wanted. Braun Strowman wins. It was the logical choice other than Daniel Bryan. But like we said, it's the point of it, I don't know. It seems like the Andre the Giant Battle Royal where you get a trophy.
The point of it was, it's in the Middle East. They're in Saudi Arabia, so they were going to give them a big event.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a bit. But the other thing we have to talk about is the match before it, the steel cage match. Brock Lesnar defeated Roman Reigns again. This is 3 times now Brock Lesnar has ended up victorious against Roman Reigns.
I was very confused. I thought he was going to win at WrestleMania, and then, he didn't. And then everybody was saying where he's going to win at this one because they're going to save it for the crowd that's actually going to cheer for him.
And they didn't even cheer for him. They booed him. That's the crazy part. They actually booed him in Saudi Arabia.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, okay, hold up. Let me be fair. Let me be perfectly fair. They didn't boo him as much as he would have gotten booed in the States. There were cheers. But you would have thought for a crowd that you would think is mostly casual fans, or just the royal family participating in this big event, that they would cheer for everything. They didn't really cheer for much of anything. And secondly, they booed him. There were boos. I was pleasantly surprised. But it just goes to show that no matter where Vince throws this guy, he's going to get booed.
It's because, nobody likes him.
Which takes us to our problem, which takes us to what we're here to talk about. Is this the end for Roman Reigns?
Well,
no. Not the end.
I wouldn't say that's the main question. Because
what do you do with them now?
The way that's worded,
you continue to shove them down people's throats.
So the word I'm looking for is it too late at this point? Like, put it this way, even if they decide to do what we've been begging the company to do, give them a character revamp or turn them heel, is it too late to the point where the fans just don't care and get this fucking guy away?
I think it is, really. It really is too late to the point that if you don't get rid of him, if you don't do something with him now, fans are just, he's really at the point of no return, really. I mean, if you really break it down, he's done nothing except for be a whiny little bitch.
I don't know if it's the point of no return, but I'm not sure what you do with him right now, because clearly the fans aren't into it. They're not going to be into it. They're going to boo him even if he does do something good, because they're kind of sick of him. And I don't know if a character revamp would help. He would have to go away for a while in order to do that. I think maybe turning him heel, giving him a Baron Corbin-esque, like, I don't give a fuck what any of you people think. I'm not here for you, I'm here for me kind of thing. Because I think that would fit in with the boos. I don't know, because I feel bad, because I feel like Roman Reigns' greatest flaw is the fact that he's still green. And he just has that stink of, this is the guy that Vince wants, and fuck all the fans if they don't agree.
The funny thing is that they did this with Cena. They were going to push Cena, fuck all the fans if they don't agree. But the big thing is that Cena was a huge draw. Sold a lot of tickets and all that. Roman is still, I think they said, the best out of the full-time performers, but he's still nowhere near where Cena was, or Brock Lesnar, which is quite sad and pathetic, given that you've been the most protected talent. With the push that you've gotten, you should be doing much better than what you're doing. And I don't think that this current thing that's going on is Roman's fault. He's just a guy doing his job.
Hey, he's doing it to the best. I wouldn't say he's bad. Like, his promo skills need some work. I wouldn't say he's a bad ring performer either. I wouldn't say he's great, but, he's like in the middle of the pack.
He can have good matches. That's not the problem. The problem is it's obvious the fans do not want him as the guy. They feel like he's the guy that overtook Daniel Bryan's spot. They feel that this guy is getting the push despite fan reaction. And it's been...
I feel like he's getting Dean Ambrose's push, or he's getting...
And Seth Rollins.
And Seth Rollins' push.
And Finn Balor's.
They feel like he's taking a spot away from some other people who the crowd genuinely does like.
See, my thing is, this goes back to, is it too late? And in under any normal circumstances, yes, it would be considered too late. The problem is that WWE, there was a YouTube user here by the name of Crazy Mike who made an argument, and his opinion is that, because most people would say that competition is what's killing the WWE, they don't have any competition, and Mike tried to argue the point that that's a flawed argument, because you can't theoretically prove if WWE will actually become a better, well-written company if another company comes along and is able to overthrow them. It's not scientifically proven, especially scientifically proven. What the fuck am I talking about? The point is that there's only one point in history that WWE really ramped up their stuff, and that was in the Attitude Era. But going to that logic, there are people, historians, that don't like the Attitude Era. They thought it was a terrible era because of how raunchy it was, how fucking disgusting it was, and it like geared away from wrestling and was more about shock jock television. So when it comes to the quality of a show, that's your personal perspective. Everybody has different tastes. So where I'm trying to get at is that, let's just say there is no competition. WWE does not have to worry if the fucking thing is too late, because they're going to make money no matter what. 20 years ago, when it was between Lex Luger and Bret Hart on who they were going to pick as their champion for WrestleMania 10, they had to make sure they put it on the right guy, because if they didn't, their business would fucking go sour. And at the time, they didn't hate Lex Luger. They liked Lex Luger. The fans liked Lex Luger to a point they would cheer him. The problem was, they just happened to like Bret Hart more. They loved Bret Hart, so we're going to go with Bret. This is different because people at one point liked Roman Reigns, but they liked Daniel Bryan more. But instead of just saying, you know what, let's go with Daniel Bryan for now, you said, fuck it, we're going Roman Reigns. And now for 4 years, you've been trying to establish him as the next John Cena. Business has not picked up in, I mean, you're at your most profitable, but you're at your most profitable because you've got a sector of fans that'll buy anything, and you've raised ticket prices, and you've raised the prices of your DVDs, your prices of your shirts, and all that. So, yeah, it's sort of like a business model where if you make a game for mobile and it's free and you rely on microtransactions, you've got two people that'll spend thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. Yeah, you're making a profit, but that's off of two people who will spend countless money to unlock everything in that game. And that's where it is now. So I think they're going to still try and push the guy, regardless. After 4 years, I have no faith.
Guapo.
He's still going to get shoved down our throats, regardless of everything. I agree with Steve, where, I don't know. I guess it's also the point, the John Cena point, because there's been many wrestlers who have had been quoted saying that they didn't see it in Cena, but Vince did. So maybe Vince sees something in Roman that we don't see. However, even Cena had to change a bit to make sure he wasn't irrelevant or not wanted. I mean, even at his peak of people just hating Cena, he still had a lot of people who cheered him. Mm-hmm. Hence the "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks" chants. I mean, now it's pretty much everybody chants Roman sucks, and nobody's chanting "Let's go Roman." It's time they do a change. They need to figure out what to do with Roman, which honestly, I've been watching different things about where certain like people are, stuff like that now, who used to be in WWE or in developmental. If they really wanted to do something, they would turn Roman heel, put him on SmackDown, have him form a alliance with Usos, call themselves the the new Wild Samoans or something like that, and
Samoan
bring
Dynasty.
back the Samoan Dynasty, bring back Alpha Junior, bring back him because he was in developmental for a while, and he's in some indie right now actually, or something. I mean, bring the family together and make a massive heel faction of the family.
Here's the thing, though. This is another point brought up by Brian Alvarez, who I highly respect and I love watching his show. But he brought up a point, and I want to bring it up to you guys, see if you agree. This is his counterpoint to turning him heel, because he doesn't think that they should turn him heel. He says that if you turn him heel, the high likely chance of what they're going to do with him is have him bum rush through Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Daniel Bryan, and all that. And so his point is, are the fans going to like that in a way where they'll buy tickets, not in the way that they're doing now where it's go away heat? Are they still going to enjoy the fact that Roman is still dominant, but now he's just a bad guy?
I mean,
isn't he already doing it?
He's doing that, but they want us to cheer him for it
right
now.
They want us. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that if they go with this different direction and turn him heel, okay, finally we'll buckle down, because their ultimate goal is to make him the guy. And one of the things that people have said is turn him heel, let him bring out his heel persona. But if he starts bum rushing through guys that we like, such as Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Daniel Bryan. Oh, Daniel Bryan's on SmackDown, so I don't think that'll happen. I'm just using him as an example.
Anybody
that the fans really, really like. Is that going to be beneficial to him, or is it just going to... the go-away heat is just going to be as persistent, is what he's trying to get at.
I mean, I don't think that's true because, I mean, we essentially had a little bit of that when Baron Corbin came in. He wasn't bum rushing like Finn Balor and all of them, but he was mowing through guys and getting booed because he didn't really give a fuck about what the fans thought. It's all about how you decide to present it. If you, I really do think if they gave him the, I don't give a fuck what any of you guys think, I'm doing this for me, all of that mentality, I think it could work.
Right, but...
I don't know if everybody would like him, but, you know, at least when they're booing him, they would be booing him for a reason other than he's boring.
The big difference between the two comparisons is that Baron Corbin didn't have, or at least he doesn't have the stigma of being the chosen one.
No, but I'm just saying if you're going to do that, then play into it more.
Well, if I'm going to do it, this is me personally. If he's going to turn heel, you might as well just blatantly admit he's the guy. Let him go out there and say... Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
Let him be with the Authority or whoever the hell is supposed to be Stephanie McMahon and be like, yeah, I'm the guy. What are you going to do about it? And then he gets the title. Let him be the heel. And now, granted, it goes back to what Brian Alvarez said, and that is, will that be good heat or will that be go-away heat? Who knows? Because the one thing that WWE has done within the last 10 years, I would say. I keep forgetting that 2010 was almost 10 years ago. But within the last 10 years, their focus is always having the heels win. Look at the Authority, for example. Even though Daniel Bryan won at WrestleMania 30, the Authority still won that program because A, Daniel Bryan got hurt, B, Brie Bella stood up to Stephanie McMahon and lost. They always find a way to give heat on the guys. Big Cass and Enzo Amore. You would think that Enzo would come out on top at the end, but, well, he theoretically did, but that's only because Big Cass got hurt. They like to make heat.
Here's my thing. How it's supposed to be, how I believe it's supposed to be, the ultimate goal of a face is we want them to win because they're going to beat this villain. You're bringing it back to a very basic kind of storytelling level. You want them to beat this villain, a la, like, you know, when Seth Rollins was in the Authority and having shit handed to him and stuff. We want somebody to take his smug little face and just rub it into the fucking mat. Like, we wanted someone to kick his ass. That's what you want. And if that is what it... My answer to your question is, it would depend on who they bring him up against. And, like, if you culminated into a, like, Daniel Bryan-esque winning storyline, like at a big show, like at Royal Rumble or Survivor Series or WrestleMania or something like that, and, you know, then the fans go home really happy because we got to see them kick this guy's ass, that we just, like, fucking hate this guy. Just fuck this guy and rub it in. But you have to... I mean, the good guy can lose several times, and we're still, it just builds up the frustration. The storyline I always point to is Bayley. We wanted her to win so badly, and Sasha Banks was such a bitch to her when she was champion, and finally at the big event, Bayley wins, everybody is excited.
You are talking about NXT.
Yes. But Bayley won the first time in NXT.
Here's the difference between WWE and NXT. NXT does not beat the guy to death. Like, all right, let me bring this.
Well, because there's not as many shows.
Because there's a ceiling for NXT for them to move up to.
Well, this is my point. When Steve Austin was the top guy, he always beat the shit out of Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon got humiliated every week, and once in a while, Vince McMahon got heat. So there is a formula to where if you create a character like Steve Austin, which would have been Dean Ambrose had they gone with it, where he just beats everybody up, the Authority, whatever, and then once in a while the Authority gets the upper hand. And when I'm talking the Authority, I'm talking about, well, the Authority was Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, so you can't really beat up Stephanie McMahon, but you could beat up J&J Security at the time. Who else? Kane, who was Corporate Kane at that time. You could do that, and then they could get their heat. The problem is with WWE is that they beat them to a point where people just don't care anymore. Like, your example of Bayley and Sasha Banks was great because in NXT, as far as I remember, it was a couple years ago, they didn't constantly beat Bayley every week to the point where it was like the fans just stopped caring. On the main roster, though, they kept beating Bayley to the point where fans started to boo her. Especially during that Alexa Bliss feud. The one where Alexa Bliss brought out her family members and her friends and all that, and then that Singapore Kane match, whatever they had, I don't even remember. I remember it being very bad. And people just stopped caring about Bayley.
Well, here's the thing that NXT does that the main roster does not. Every NXT did not have Bayley's storyline. Because they only have, like, what, 4 matches and a couple segments kind of thing. So that storyline went on for a long time, but you weren't constantly hammered down with it. So even if, like, Bayley lost twice in a row, I feel like you didn't feel like that was a huge, awful thing because it had been a while since you've seen Bayley. Like, you know, it'd been, like, 2 weeks or something like that. There was a gap in there somewhere. And, you know, I know WWE is to fill the time. They have a 3-hour show and everything. But I feel like that's the thing NXT does is that they don't harp on the storyline on every storyline every week. Like, you know, one week the women are talking about, you know, this storyline. And then the next week it'll be maybe about the title. Or then the next week you may not even have a women's match. They may focus on the tag team division. Like, I feel like, I mean, I don't want to sit here and be the person that's just, NXT is amazing, and NXT fucks up too sometimes. But I feel like this is something they do well, where you don't get storyline fatigue.
That is definitely true, but it still shows the difference between NXT and WWE, where guys and gals, for that matter, flourish way better in the NXT environment because you see characters who get hugely over in NXT, but then as soon as they enter the main roster, they either end up directionless or a shadow of their former selves. A perfect example of this is one of my favorite teams, believe it or not, were the Vaudevillains. I love the Vaudevillains because they were such a unique team. It was so different at that time. I love the Vaudevillains. I like people who try to do things that haven't been done before that are interesting, like Aiden English and Simon Gotch. That was a really interesting gimmick. Granted, it wasn't going to win any world titles, but it doesn't have to. It could be a tag team run. And I think Simon Gotch brought it up best. They just got thrusted onto the main roster without any proper build. Like, they should have had the old vaudeville videos or the silent films that were similar to that of the Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton era. Just do some goofy-ass shit like that, and then when they debut, they get over. So, they were supposed to be a fun-loving team, but then when they got in the main roster, they were just a team. And that's a big thing, and I just don't trust WWE, like, going way back to where we were starting with this conversation with Roman Reigns. I feel they will protect him, because that's their guy. It's how it is, and plus you've gone way too far at this point to not use him. Unless, of course, he does something really horrific, like murder somebody, God forbid, knock on wood. But suffice to say, I just don't have faith in a company where their main goal is to always build heat, but they build heat to a point where you just stop caring about the babyface they're beating up. So I would hope they can follow more NXT formula, but with 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, I mean, NXT's an hour, if that, and like you said, not everybody shows up every week. And the crazy thing is that with 3 hours of Raw, they still can't find time for some of their guys. That's crazy.
Oh, that's all I got to say for that. I think they can fix Roman Reigns. I think they just got to... I mean, we've been telling them to turn John Cena heel for... I feel... Not to make this conversation even fucking longer, but I feel like also WWE is panicked at the idea that John Cena's not going to be around anymore. Or very much longer, and they're panicked at the idea that they are not going to have a guy.
Well, that was the other thing I wanted to ask. If Roman Reigns isn't the guy, who is? I have a name, and I think it's the same name you're thinking, but go ahead.
Seth Rollins.
That is not the name I was thinking, but...
Okay, what was the name you were thinking?
Braun Strowman.
I was going to say Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman. Because, A, he's got the look that they like. He's big. He's popular.
But he's not, he has the size, but he doesn't have the look. Like John Cena, when you see him, he has the look. He looks basically like, if he had black hair, he looks basically like Superman.
Well,
and he has the chiseled abs.
If you want to compare superheroes, you can compare Braun Strowman to the Incredible Hulk. He's a big dude that destroys shit.
It's not the guy that you send on Good Morning America.
Maybe
to
not.
Talk about the Royal Rumble.
Maybe not.
And I'm not saying everybody on the roster has to be that guy, but WWE needs that guy. The other guy that they have that does all that stuff very well is The Miz. The Miz is great at going on and doing morning shows and all of that. He is a better heel, but you can still, nowadays especially, where kayfabe isn't as huge a deal, like you can still
dead.
send...
It's dead, dude. Yeah, it's pure dead.
I would not say it's dead, but when you send them...
Yeah. Maybe it's undead, like Walking Dead, but...
I disagree. I mean, that just depends what you mean by kayfabe. I mean, at the shows and when it comes to WWE stuff...
The only person that has kept kayfabe alive is Chris Jericho. But that's about it.
Incorrect. Kevin Owens does a really good job at keeping kayfabe alive.
Okay, there you go. I'll give you those two. But two wrestlers out of how many wrestlers exist in this world now? Okay, hold up. 3. There is a third one, Undertaker. So, that's 3 of them.
Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt is bad at kayfabe too if you actually watch him on the outside. If you actually see his outside interviews, he talks like a normal human being, like you and me. He's not like Jericho, where if Jericho's a heel, he's actually told stories about during the Hypocrites and Parasites era, he'd go into an elevator and a kid wanted his autograph, and he would just stare with that blank stare out in space, not giving you autograph.
Hardy keeps kayfabe.
Yeah, Broken Hardy. But still, even with all these names, that's only a handful of guys out of how many wrestlers are in the WWE alone.
Right, true.
Plus, it's like, the internet era, it's hard to keep it under wraps. I mean, even in the 80s, when Vince was going national, it was like everybody knew at this point that the cat was out of the bag at that point. So, but the reason why I say Braun Strowman is proof at WrestleMania when he had that tag team match with that little kid, Nicholas. I think you can do something with Braun Strowman with the whole Make-A-Wish thing, because let's face facts, okay? And again, taking inspiration on Brian Alvarez, I'm sorry if I'm ripping off your material, but there is one thing that little boys like. They like, especially boys who are just getting into school and all that, what they like is violence. They like guys or robots or machines or whatever fucking shit up. It's why you see boys like in Transformers, Power Rangers, Superman, Batman, Incredible Hulk and all that. Braun Strowman is the complete package to what a young boy wants. They want to see this big dude just destroy shit. It may not work for girls, because of course girls are going to want to cater to more to that, but there's obviously going to be a sector of girls who are tomboys and want to see that shit too. But for now, I would say you could go with Seth Rollins. I'm not going to argue that one. He's definitely popular enough. He can wrestle. He's got a look. He's probably one of the best talents they have there. But I think that you should not ignore Braun Strowman, especially where he's at now.
I'm not saying Braun Strowman isn't those things, but Braun Strowman is not Cena. They don't send Braun Strowman out to be the face of the company.
They could.
They could.
But they won't.
Oh, you don't know.
That's not going to be their guy.
Yeah.
I promise you. He doesn't have the chiseled look, and I think it's bullshit. I'm not agreeing with WWE here. I think it's bullshit, but it's the look that they go for.
The only reason I would only disagree is because of how well protected they've made him, despite some botches here and there. They've still
protected on the show. Protected on the show is not the same thing as sending them on Good Morning America to talk to Robin Robbins about cooking whatever the fuck they make they eat on the weekend to stay fit. It's not the same thing.
I think my point being is that if they're protecting him to that degree, the same way they protected Cena back in the day, they see something in him that they can market him so that when they do Good Morning America or Make-A-Wish, they can send him out there. Is it going to happen? Don't know. Only time will tell, because he hasn't won the title yet, but I would like to think that they built him to that point so that they can make him like what we're describing. But
I think they've built him like a monster, like kind of sort of almost lovable, like Andre, but like I said, you don't see John Cena on Good Morning America, or you don't see Braun Strowman on Good Morning America in a suit. And I'm not saying that they can't use him, because, I mean, they did in New Orleans. He was talking about how many calories he has to eat to keep up his weight and all of that stuff, to keep the look that he wants. And so I'm saying they do use him, but like I said, in WWE, they have John Cena and they have The Miz, who they put on, little morning talk shows, who go out and talk about, Miz will talk about his baby and his wife and how that, how traveling affects all of that. And, they bring John Cena on to talk about whatever movie he's in. And, dude, as they're cooking some couscous and other shit. Yes, couscous. I had that this afternoon, so.
Okay.
That's what I went with.
I'm so, like, city boy, like, I don't know what the fuck a couscous is.
Kind of like rice, but
It's
a
bullshit.
grain.
It's bullshit in a bowl.
Like literal horse manure?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Whatever. Couscous is like rice, so it just kind of it's boring.
It's really
by itself.
shitty rice.
It's boring by itself, but if you put it with something more interesting, then it's more interesting.
Like Roman Reigns.
Shittier.
Yes.
Um,
Roman Reigns is the couscous of wrestling, is what we're
Cool.
saying.
There it is. All right.
Yay.
That concludes this segment.
Yes, that was a long talk, but actually, that was sort of the formula we were going for this new segment called Counterpoint, where we discuss something that we may have a disagreement on and we just talk about it. Not like certain places where it can get overheated, because I do not like overheated arguments. I should let you know that I was one of those types of people, but I'm getting too fucking old for that type of stuff. But we can have discussions. And one of the discussions that I had in mind that we may have disagreements on, actually, Counterpoint was your idea, so let me credit you with that.
In my defense, Counterpoint was my idea, but it was more of I have a really good name for what I feel is a really good name for a show, and now I have to figure out what the fuck that means.
So the basic gist is we have something, and me and Kristen discussed this the last time we talked. This was 2 weeks ago, I believe, when we discussed this. Yeah. It was on SmackDown, I remember, because I was in a Skype call with Anna, and you happened to call me just with that idea. So the topic was going back to the Greatest Royal Rumble. The Greatest Royal Rumble, the biggest controversy coming out of it was the women. The women were not allowed to wrestle on this show. The women were not allowed to cut promos on the show. The women weren't even allowed to be there on this show, including Stephanie McMahon. And some people have said that this could be a slow progress going forward for the women. So the last thing that we got from this whole entire debacle before we actually get into the whole meat of it was that at some point during the show, they aired a vignette with Carmella on it. And I don't remember the exact initials, but I think it was the GSA had issued an apology for showing women to the citizens of Saudi Arabia, saying that we apologize if this made you feel uncomfortable because this is counterproductive to our culture, blah, 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 blah. In essence, they were apologizing for having the audacity to show a woman on screen.
It depends. Well, I'll let you finish, and then I will.
Well, that's the basic gist of everything. So the topic of this discussion is, where do we go going forward? Because at this point, they have a 10-year deal with Saudi Arabia. As somewhat, don't take my word as gospel. I think it's 10 years, and the whole entire deal is worth $200 million.
Damn.
Yeah, and then they have another show coming up in November. They don't have a theme yet. Not like this one, Greatest Royal Rumble. They don't.
Probably the greatest Survivor Series.
Awesome. I like that.
The greatest. Everything is the greatest. Whatever pay-per-view.
The greatest fast lane.
The
greatest fast.
The greatest submission match. So.
The greatest Punjabi prison.
Oh, I love it. The greatest pinata on a pole match.
What was the one? I was gonna say the greatest Cyber Sunday.
The greatest Hell in a Cell.
The greatest Fatal 4-Way.
The greatest Taboo Tuesday, even though it's gonna be on Sunday.
Yeah. Anyways, so the discussion is this going to be a positive for women going forward? Is the WWE genuine in their feelings for women's wrestling, or are they just marketing? So,
Guapo, you go first.
Yeah, let me step out for a second while you talk.
I don't think this is a step back for women's wrestling. as it is just we know what the culture is over there, so there's not much we can really do about it. Even though WWE has been a massive, like, big proprietor of helping especially women's wrestling get pulled forward, that this really isn't a setback for WWE as it is just this is what we have to do because we want to make a fuck ton of money.
That is my thoughts exactly. Whenever you go to a country, even if you don't agree with how things are, you kind of have to, if you want to do business there and you want to continue to do business there, you kind of have to, go with what they're going with. You could make a stand and be like, because of how you guys treat women, we're not going to deal with you. But I have always said that it's easier to catch flies with honey than with vinegar. The example I can think of is, I'm sure everybody has seen this at some point. It was the example I used with Steve when I talked about this with Steve. Does everybody know it's not one guy, it's, the guy on a college campus that's there just to tell everybody that they're going to hell for having premarital sex and all of that jazz. Like, he's just the guy that stands in the free speech area and tells you you're going to hell for various reasons. I doubt that guy is recruiting many people to the church. I'm sure what it really does is it turns people off. They go, fuck this guy.
Correct.
So to essentially yell, maybe not yell, but, figuratively yell at Saudi Arabia because you don't like how they deal with women, I don't think is going to help the cause at all. It's just going to make them recoil and be like, this is why we don't like the West, because they don't respect our beliefs or anything. And I also feel like Saudi Arabia has made a lot of big strides thanks to the Crown Prince. He's enacted a lot more female positive legislation. Women can now drive. Women actually were able to go to this event for the first time. And it's not just royal family members. It was the populace. Normally, they wouldn't have been able to go to an event like this with half-clothed men and everything. They just couldn't. And, I think these are positive steps in the right direction. Is it what we want? No. But, steps in the right direction, I feel.
And for the... just to point it out, Sami Zayn, who is of Iranian descent.
No, it's Syrian, I think.
Or Syrian, okay.
Syrian. Middle Eastern.
He chose not to go at all.
Are you sure? I thought he was banned. He wasn't allowed to go.
No, he chose not to go. He's not banned. He just chose not to go because of his...
Where did you get that?
I saw it on some report someplace. I can't.
Because I keep hearing he wasn't allowed to go. I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't.
Somebody, let's look it up right now. Everybody's.
Let me see if I can find the
You're
article.
probably right. I probably talking out of my ass. I'm just saying. I
know, but let's back up some shit.
Well, while you're doing that, let me give you my thoughts.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I don't think people are pissed off at Syria. Because
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Potato. You know what? No,
it's not potato.
No,
Saudi Arabia. Okay.
It's like saying Guatemala and Mexico are the same place.
Well, if you know the Patriot, he would say that. He would say that England and Israel are the same place. So
I held off on that because there are a number of people that regularly make the joke to Guapo where it's like, hey, you're Mexican. No, I'm Honduran.
Thank you.
Thing.
Yeah. Anyways, so the point that I was trying to make is I don't think people are pissed at Saudi Arabia. People are pissed at WWE.
I never thought anybody was pissed at Saudi Arabia.
No, they're pissed at WWE, but they're pissed at WWE. Well, first and foremost, let's get something out of the way. The WWE is way behind when it comes to female athletes. It took them literally 3 years ago to finally take this women's division seriously, and they probably only did so because of the spark in Ronda Rousey at that time, who was really bringing mixed martial arts and the UFC for women really up in the forefront. With that said, despite that the Saudi Arabian environment is now allowing women to drive and all that, I'm not sure what are the rights they've been given. Well, like you said, they're allowed to attend this event. The fact of the matter is, they're still not equal. They're still not a group of people that are considered equal enough that they can, not like in Abu Dhabi where they have to be in bodysuits, but will allow them to perform. They weren't even allowed to be seen. That to me is a bit scary for my taste. Now, the other thing is that this is going off on a completely different tangent entirely. But we live in a society where there is a sector of people that will cry patriarchy in the West. Now, I joke about politics here, Daddy Trump and all that. But I do hold the firm belief that it's really hard for me to find a right, and I'm talking about a right, that women do not have that men do in the West. And if there is, it doesn't even compare to places like Saudi Arabia. Now, I'm glad WWE is... I hear a dog.
Yes.
Yes, I stepped outside.
Okay. So...
I like that Monoxide has moments of what I feel are Tourette's, where he just stops. I hear a dog.
Yeah, well, that's why I have that spinner, that little fidget spinner. Because it's shit like that makes me go off.
Just, it's like his brain shut down when he heard the dog.
There's a dog!
There's a dog!
He could not think of anything else. His brain was like, fuck it, what the fuck is that, a dog?
Who the fuck is the dog in?
I do have bad ADD, so...
Okay, I'm sorry, continue.
Okay, so where was I? So, Saudi Arabia is still far behind in the times, and...
Yes.
I feel as though when WWE goes out to a country that still needs to progress further, if there's a progressive movement that needs to be made in any sort of civilization, it's there, but I'm not the type to go to somebody else's country and do that. You do you, I do me. I'll only do that if I'm living in your country and I feel there needs to be changes, but beyond the point. So, WWE goes over there because they see the dollar signs. But not taking into regard that they've got women athletes. Not just that. Let's look at it from Vince McMahon's perspective. He wants his daughter to become him, virtually. Not just behind the scenes, but on screen. He wants Stephanie McMahon to be the new Mr. McMahon. So, and she wasn't allowed anywhere near this event. Now, again, knocking on wood, God forbid. Let's just say Vince McMahon were to pass away. Okay? I don't wish death upon anybody. I'm not that much of an asshole anymore. So
I was about to say anymore for anybody that listened back in the day to the Jenna Morosca rant.
Well,
I only bring that up because I listened to it recently.
Yes. Anyways, and we will bring that up in a bit. The reason I say this is because Stephanie McMahon is more than likely going to be the president owner of WWE other than Triple H. So it's like, if they still have the Saudi Arabian deal, and they're still not in tune with the whole entire women's rights and all that, they're still in that phase, what's to say they don't sever ties? Then it's like, well, you obviously look like you look like you got egg on your face when that type of scenario happens. Now, again, I'm talking what ifs and possibilities. But it's just the point that you're going to a country you know is still way far behind, and you showed little regard to the women on your roster. Not just the women, but the gay, the LGBTQ people that you have on your roster, like Sonya Deville. Like, never mind that she's female. She's also She identifies as gay. So she's going to probably feel like some sort of way that they're going to not... They're just going to put her feelings and her... and something she can't control to the side so that they can make a quick buck. Now, apparently they got paid for this, which, good for them, but...
They got paid a fuck ton.
They better have. This is the one time I'm going to sit here and be like, yeah, let's smash the patriarchy over there. So, I'm more of the belief that WWE looked really hypocritical to say that we are empowering women's wrestling, but if a country that's still backwards in time offers us enough money, well, yeah, you sit over there and make me some sandwiches in the kitchen.
Yes, all the sandwiches.
All the sandwiches that I can eat. Yeah, you want to watch? What, the clock on the stove ain't good enough for you? Are you is that what you're saying? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That was
I'm gonna let you have those because those were funny.
I'm just saying. The point is that I'm not a progressive. I'm not any of those things. A lot of my friends are. I bust their balls all the time because, let's face facts. Trump is our new dad. We lost our original fathers and our mothers. We got Melania and Daddy Trump. Let's just face that fact. And we got
Melania.
Same difference. We've also got Ivanka. We got a new sister. A beautiful sister and a beautiful mother. Point is,
beautiful sister that our dad wants to sleep with. Probably. Allegedly.
If she wasn't his daughter. See.
Allegedly.
You gotta remember that. If she wasn't his daughter. But he has
still weird.
And he may grab her by the pussy. Yeah, you're just fake news, anyways.
Fake news.
So to finish my point, I'm not a progressive, but I do feel that if there's any type of scenario where the progressives should stand up for the women and LGBTQ movement, do I have that right? LGBTQ? Is that because
yes,
they change it every week now. So
just remember, Finn Balor's for everyone.
He is for everyone. And he's over, too.
He is over.
So, if anybody is to be progressive, it should be to this. In my opinion. Like, WWE needs to realize that we're over here now. You don't need the money. Is it good to have the money? Yes. But I think people would respect you a lot more if you stuck to your principles. It's not like you're, Lucha Underground, where you could really use the money. I'm just saying.
Ooh, when you put it like that.
Yeah. I don't disagree with your points, but at the same time, like I said, I also kind of get where they're coming from. I'm trying to think of something else that WWE couldn't do culturally in another place. I'm trying to think.
Afghanistan? I don't
know. You don't take a vegetarian to a barbecue place and tell them, you know what, fucking deal with it. Some people would.
I would.
That's not the greatest example, but it's the best one I could think of.
I mean, we take our friend Abby to Sushi Masa all the time.
I didn't know Abby was a vegetarian.
Or she's trying to be, but
no, that doesn't fucking count.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so, with that regard, I'm just of the opinion that you don't have to do business. You're not thriving, you're not in need of money.
No, of course not.
What you're in need of is to add credibility to the fact that you do care about your women. That's what you need. And going to a country that still is so far behind kills that credibility. At the end of the day, you're a business. I understand that you gotta make money. But, again, WWE is the biggest company in the entire world as far as wrestling, other than maybe New Japan. But New Japan, it's still not popular here within the States as WWE is. They're getting there, but...
Well, and New Japan's getting bigger because they are also embracing the platform of streaming. Like, online streaming and stuff like that with New Japan World and everything. They're making it easier access for the viewers here in the United
Which
States.
I say to all the assholes out there who say the internet killed wrestling, fuck you. The internet helped it by being able to make independent companies much more accessible.
Exactly.
So, fuck
Who
you.
said the internet killed wrestling?
A lot of people, like Vince Russo, says that internet killed wrestling because now there's no surprises anymore.
I would.
Well, of course there's no
Okay, I
surprises
would've-
when fucking Vince Russo is the one fucking giving out the dirt sheets and the spoilers.
I mean, and also, if you don't want to know that stuff, you can also, it's not like it's posted on Yahoo. Like, you do have to go, like, actually look for that information.
Yeah. But yeah,
If you go to a dirt sheet place and you see a spoiler for how the Royal Rumble's supposed to end, then that's on you. That's different than, like, you go on Facebook and somebody posts the end to Infinity Wars. Like,
Or, here's another one. Remember when somebody spoiled the ending to A Force Awakens for you?
oh yeah, I was super pissed.
I remember
about
you
that, by
messaged
the
me
way.
telling me, I hope that fucking dude is just making that shit up. I'm like, I just woke up. I don't know what happened. I forgot what I was doing that day.
A little context. Monoxide had a colleague,
Mhm.
and there was a guy on it that was trying to
Oh,
get heel heat
yes.
on the colleague, and he posted spoilers to Force Awakens,
Star Wars
and
Force Awakens, yeah.
Star Wars Force Awakens, and I was super pissed because, you know, when you join a Facebook group, you get notifications.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I stopped looking at notifications for your Facebook group.
Well,
I totally shut them off.
Just to let you know, you were not the only one that came. Like, nobody directed their anger at me. It was more of like, fuck that guy type of. You weren't the only
Yes.
one. Like, nobody was mad at me per se. They were just saying, do something about this fucking prick. And we ended up, to make a long story short, I thought it was just an honest mistake. We come to find out the guy was actually much more sick than we actually thought, but that's another story for another day. We're going to cap it off with the final thing. We are going to watch one of the greatest matches of all time. I think I sent it to y'all on Facebook Messenger.
Yep.
Okay, I gotta pull it up. Hang on.
I'm about to have it pulled up.
I'm about to have it pulled up myself. And stupid ass!
I know, I muted up, skip ad.
All right.
Hang on, I gotta
Pause.
get there. Wait.
Do we want to skip straight to the match, or
No,
do
we gotta watch the entrances, man. The entrances
Alright.
make this match. Now, my only question is, should I have it with the sound on and just have our reactions, or should I have the actual sound going in the background? With
No, we'll just do our reactions, and if you want, are you gonna put the match over our reactions?
Probably not, because if the sound is going to be much of a problem to copyright, then definitely the video is going to be much of a problem to copyright.
Well, where's the video at?
YouTube.
Oh, well, I meant specifically what channel is it on?
No, it's
random person.
Some random person uploaded this. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about TNA or Impact.
Then you should be fine.
Are you trying to say that Impact does not have a good legal team?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, or else.
Well,
If
they
I-
have a pretty good legal team because they prevented Matt Hardy from being broken for a while.
They did
Not
grant
long enough.
everybody. I think they granted us rights, for likeness purposes to be able to use this.
Uh-huh.
Oh god.
Alright, I'll just do it.
I think you should do it. And if this thing gets copyright, then we'll just end the show here and then cut this part out.
Upload.
That's right. Alright, so we'll just watch the match with the sound off. then I'll just put it in.
For our friends on what's the website? I always forget.
Unpopularunion.com.
For our friends at unpopularunion.com, I'm sorry that you're listening to the podcast and you cannot view the wonderful masterpiece that is Victory Road 2009, Jenna versus Charmel.
Now, let's give some context to this match, shall
This
we?
is Kristen's favorite wrestling match.
It is. It's my absolute favorite.
Jenna Moroska was a contestant on Survivor who was brought into TNA to align with the Main Event Mafia. And if I'm correct, Jenna and Charmel were feuding because only one of them could be the queen of Main Event Mafia, or the woman of Main Event Mafia, whatever the hell it was. So they're going to settle their differences at Victory Road 2009. But meanwhile, they are not alone, as Charmel is accompanied by Sojona Bolt, and Jenna Moroska is accompanied by Awesome Kong, who you may know better in WWE as Karma. So, let's give a little bit of a story before we get to this match, okay? I was in a Skype call with a group of people. And
it was me and MB.
There was more. I think Josh was there, something like that, or Truth Slayer.
Well, in the Skype call, it's just me and MB.
So we get to the first match, which I think was Angelina Love and somebody, Victoria, I think it was. I don't remember. Not important. I then get a call from John, my personal friend John, around the Daniels Matt Morgan match. And I say, you know what, this pay-per-view is not really doing anything for me. I'm just going to go out tonight. Which is exactly what I do. I go out. I come back a day later, and I'm informed of this match. This wonderful, marvelous match. Now, if you haven't noticed, folks, I was a very angry person back then. It didn't take much to piss me off. So, when I saw this match, and then I heard about what she said, where she said I only had a few days to practice, and then it was revealed that she had lied. She had a spot-by-spot training for a month, and this is what she gave us. Little did I know, due to my naivete, where I ripped into her and said some of the most vile, vulgar things that I would never dare say to this day.
It's pretty bad.
Due to my naivete, I did not realize the piece of art that they had thrown out there. This was like Van Gogh and Rembrandt out there performing art.
Rembrandt?
You know what I mean. Now, let's get on with the show, shall we? Do you have the video up?
I do. I am ready to push play.
Are you
give me a
ready?
Countdown?
Are you ready, Guapo?
Yes, I'm ready to press play.
Okay. On the count of 3. 1.
Wait. On 3 or after 3?
On 3.
Okay, so is it 1, 2, 3 play or 1, 2, 3 and hit the button play on the number 3?
1, 2 play or 1, 2, 3 play?
The second I say 3, you hit play.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I know if I even tried to explain it any other way, it would just create mass confusion. Alright, here we go. 1, 2, 3. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I am yours truly, Bob Ross. And here we are. We've got a beautiful masterpiece out here. Oh yes, There's Jennifer. There's Charmel in a nice little dress, ready to wrestle. She's ready to go and compete in a nice long dress. Have you ever wrestled in a dress before? I bet you have. It must be really nice. But that'll
Remember,
just be our little
pinky's
secret.
out.
Yes, that'll be our little secret. Okay, so she's coming out here right now. She's got her little cape.
In an evening gown.
Yeah, she's got her evening gown, ready to go. Oh, there's Sojona Bolt, being very respectful to the great Charmel. Oh yes, Mrs. Booker T is ready to go.
I'm not sure why you decided to do this as commentary, but okay.
Okay, now we've got the most awesome Kong there is. Oh, she's wearing titanium white hair beads. Oh yes, that's real nice.
She's not wearing titanium white. That's how her hair looks. It's blonde.
So she looks like she's about to throw somebody in a little bush. Yes, let's paint a little bush right up there.
Oh, how far Awesome Kong has fallen.
Oh yes.
You could call it karma.
You could call it bad karma.
You could clearly see the IDGAF face on her. Oh shit. Oh my goodness. Hold on a second.
I know going back a second, well, no, we got to talk about this first. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, here comes the best
Oh
woman.
God.
Here comes the best woman on earth, Jenna Baraska. Oh my God, look at sexy.
I would like to say that the first time Monoxide watched this, he called her a crack whore.
Oh God.
I mean, look at it.
Now she's about to enter the ring. Look at that. Look at that. Oh God. She's not just gonna show her ass. She's gonna show the hole inside her ass.
Full on camel toe right there.
Oh my God, the camel toe.
That's too much.
Oh
That's
God.
too much.
Somebody just beat.
That's too much.
Oh.
Don't worry.
Just why?
Don't-
Right? Yeah.
I agree with Charmel.
Yes, Charmel.
I agree
Too much.
with Charmel.
Let me take a quote.
With that entrance.
Let me take a quote from God here. There are no such thing as mistakes, only happy accidents.
No, that wasn't even an accident. Somebody did that on purpose.
Okay.
Like she tried to be like Melina, but couldn't because she couldn't do a split.
You could clearly tell Sojourner Bull wants to grab her by the camel toe. You could clearly tell. You could clearly tell that she's got a MAGA hat in her
Wait,
pocket.
is it a camel toe or would you consider it a cheetah toe since of the cheetah print?
Okay.
Nope, still camel toe.
So now they're having an argument.
I love that they have slits in Charmel's dress, but they're not even really high enough to be helpful.
Ooh, she's shaking it. Oh yeah.
Oh yes, because this is that constitute as wrestling.
Oh yes, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we got a headlock, and oh, knee to the stomach.
Nope, and a lockup.
Yes, I think I'm a little ahead of you guys because
You
my
might
video fucked
be
up.
because you might have
That's
hit
okay.
That's okay. But anyways,
I'm at the part where she throws her face down into the ring.
I'm at 332, 333, 334,
I'm at 340.
336.
and oh god, look at those nice little kicks. Oh yes.
All right, I
There we go.
fast forward a little bit. Where are you at?
Oh god, she's pounding her down.
250.
She's pounding her down.
I'm at 345.
All right, you're behind now.
I'm behind now.
I am now at 4 minutes. It doesn't
4.
matter.
Me too. Okay.
Now Charmel, what's she gonna do? She's gonna Irish whip. Oh, look at that beautiful precision. Look at that beautiful precision. How she just took her arm over and just barely hit the ropes.
She barely touched the ropes whatsoever. You have to attack the ropes, woman. Come on.
Oh my god, can you see that? Can you see that wardrobe malfunction all over the ring?
Charmel is
Oh yeah,
shedding.
Charmel is shedding all over the ring.
She is
Camel
shedding.
clutch to go with that camel
This is
toe.
Oh my
taking
God.
a shit.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Eddie Guerrero's father would be so proud. Look at that camel clutch.
Iron
Awesome
Sheik.
Kong is like,
Iron,
why am I-
Iron Sheik says, "I break your back and make you humble."
Oh, and she goes around her. Oh god.
Oh no. Now she's gonna Irish whip, and yep, there she goes, going around her. Oh, that is the nicest. Oh, look at that side splash.
Oh. Referee Earl Hebner, why'd you have to sell bootleg shirts? You could be better than this.
Oh my god.
You
Look at this
could.
beautiful splash. She's about to say, "This is my kitchen now." Holy Jesus, now she's pulling on her hair extensions.
Yep, standing on her hair.
Come
Uh-oh.
on, Earl. Get in there. Oh God, Earl, end this. Come on.
Yeah, Earl, don't you know that it's against the rules to pull off a woman's weave in the middle of a match?
Also, you can't sell it after the match.
Oh, this poor woman. Dear God Almighty. And now,
So she has
Nice.
this never-ending wedgie.
Shut up, Taz.
listen,
I
Taz.
had the sound off. I can't listen to it.
Uh-oh.
Commentary helps because Taz is ridiculous.
Well, Taz is
I like
great
how
on
she
commentary,
just
so
lays there.
help.
She doesn't even like react to being stomped on. She just lays there.
Well,
She doesn't sell.
Well, you have to remember, she is knocked out. Oh my
No.
goodness! Oh my goodness, what a 2 count! What a 2
Wait.
count!
Are you saying a knockout was knocked out?
Oh my goodness, that could have been the end of the
Yes, it was.
streak! Jenna Maraska,
It was
0-0
not a
streak!
knockout.
Jenna Morosca's undefeated streak could have come to an
How many
end.
blue feathers are in the ring?
Oh, what a kick! What a kick to the balls!
Yep.
It's
Back
so
to her
sad
balls.
when Charmel's like the best wrestler in the ring.
Yeah.
Oh God! Oh, what is with these slaps?
Oh,
man.
what is
Stiff
no?
arm slaps.
No.
The greatest slaps on the face of the earth. I think she slapped the taste out of her mouth.
Oh, that
Yeah.
spear. Oh God.
And now, oh god, they're gonna do the generic diva roll over the referee spot.
Right over the referee.
Oh.
Oh, and he gets a taste of Jenna Morosca's camel toe.
Earl Hebner has a boner.
I don't know if he can create a boner at his age.
At this point, maybe still.
Oh, she pulled out some of her weave.
Uh-oh.
And it's in her hand.
Uh-oh. She's about to hook up. She's about to hook up. She just saw her weave. Ladies and gentlemen, what is she gonna do? What is she going to do?
Bitch did not just take my weave.
And now here comes Sojona Bolt to hop on the ring and... Oh, poor girl.
Kong misses her.
Kong clearly did not give a fuck.
Awesome Kong could not give less of a fuck.
And that's why he had bad karma.
Now. Oh my goodness, poor Charmel. All she wants is her weave extensions.
Boom!
And...
Now that's how you
Oh,
stop.
what a cheap shot. What a cheap shot. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Now we gotta redo this whole
really?
painting.
With this pin?
And now, she's about to do the pin. She's about to do the schoolgirl pin. Here we go. 1, 2, the streak lives on.
Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus. What's sad is that it gets less painful every time you watch it.
It's still horrible.
It's still bad.
I just want to send a message out there to one Mark Calloway. How does it feel to know that Jenna Morosca has an undefeated streak and you don't? Better yet, I just came up with a dream match. Jenna Morosca versus Nicholas. 1-0. Who could give each other the first loss? Now, patting her on the back. Oh my goodness, Awesome Kong, you can clearly tell, is being very bothered. Oh, I think the weight of her camel toe was too much for her.
Awesome Kong's giving her this look like, no, bitch.
Not today, bitch.
Oh, that's such a bad slap. And now you're gonna die.
Uh-oh.
Kong's gonna kill you. Kong's gonna kill you.
Don't worry.
Absolutely.
Jenna
Out
Morosca.
of here. And then she just lays flat.
You gonna die, bitch. You gonna die. That's how you attack
I wish-
ropes.
Exactly. I also kind of wish that there was a, that she had given her the,
God,
the
that's
implant
over.
buster. That was bad. But it gets a little less bad every time. And just more sad.
Just wait for next week's.
Yes, so anyways, ladies and gentlemen, to end it on this note, I'm going to take a quote from one of my good friends, MB Wrestler. Camel toe will never get you far in life and in professional wrestling. The end.
Alright, that's a great quote.
Anyways, that was my friend Bob Ross, the famous painter from the early 90s. And
I was about to say, were you doing your best Bob Ross impersonation?
something like that. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that was one of the greatest matches of all time. And next week's match is going to be even better. I think it was recommended by Guapo.
Yes, thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
I have to relook at which one you sent to me because I know I have a third one lined up. Ladies and gentlemen,
I can tell you if you like.
well,
Yes,
tell me.
tell us.
Do you want to say it on the show or wait till next week? Let them.
I mean, I can build. We can build up the hype
Okay.
for it.
Let's build up the hype. Go ahead.
Next week, the match that we will be reviewing is none other than another TNA classic, TNA Victory Road 2011, Jeff Hardy versus Sting.
Yes.
I kind of can't wait for this one.
This. Keep in mind, it was Jeff Hardy, not Brother Nero.
Yes, correct.
Keep
Brother-
in mind, it was Jeff Hardy before he went to rehab.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been our edition of Squared Circle Breakdown. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Squared Circle Breakdown. I'm yours truly, Stephen Ross.
Stephen Ross. I was Kristen.
I'm Guapo. Adios, amigos.
Bye.
Oh, and one more thing. One more thing before we go. That was absolutely wonderful. Yeah.